What's going on, guys? It's Nura from UK Mobile Review. It's time for our Galaxy Gear review. So first, let's talk about the design of the Galaxy Gear. Like most, it looks just like a watch. We've got a 1.6 inch display on the front, which is an AMOLED display. It's 320 by 320 pixels. It's really quite bright and vibrant. To the left here, we've got the power button. If we carry on round, here we've got a speaker and a microphone. And then here we've got a 1.9 megapixel camera with 720p video recording, which, just like Instagram, is limited to 15 seconds. Now the design, a lot of people have said they found it quite thick, which we actually disagree with, because if you look at it, it is relatively slim. It's not exactly the thinnest watch on the market, but it's about as thick as we'd expect a normal watch to be. So we've got absolutely no problem with this. And actually the design of this, with a plasticky strap, which is adjustable, as you'll see there, really is just like a watch, but it's obviously a lot smarter than your average watch, and it comes with a lot more smart features, which we'll touch on in a second. Now, one of the best things about the Galaxy Gear is that it does notifications, and this is exactly what you want it for. Now, I've been using the Galaxy Gear for a month now. I think we got it towards the middle of October, so coming up to about 5 to 6 weeks. And in that time, it's come a long way. One of the best reasons to have it is for notifications. This is our software version, which is V700XX UA MK7. Now, the good thing is, we actually updated this recently, and it now means we can get notifications for absolutely any application. Before, it was only the Samsung only applications, and we had to use a hack around called ATN to get it to work. But now, it's absolutely any notifications, as you will see now. So as you see, it just pops up on the screen with what the notification is. If I tap into it, it shows me that it's a tweet towards me, just a gear test, just to see what exactly how it appears on the display. But what happens if we've just missed that notifications? Well, we can just go into notifications, and we've now got an archive of all the notifications there. And as you can see, it works for absolutely any application. With the Gear Manager on the Galaxy Note 3, you're able to adjust it exactly as you'd like to absolutely any application saved on your device. And we'll show you what we mean here. So you go into notifications, you've got notifications for the actual gear, which are specific, certain applications. But if you go into more notifications, it allows you to set absolutely any device whatsoever, as you can see here as well. Every application on our phone is able to send notifications to the Galaxy Gear. We've only ticked some, but it's again really handy to have, especially if you are heavy on Skype. We can now tick that. Spotify, Translate, Wikipedia, Wunderlist. The possibilities are absolutely endless. And this is one of the reasons to have a Galaxy Gear, is for notifications. Now, it's not just about notifications, because it does a lot more than that. There is a camera, which many people might think is a bit weird, but actually really simple to take. And you've even got the ability to make phone calls from it. In the call log, it just pulls it straight off the phone and allows you to make phone calls. But what happens if it's not in your call log and you just want to look through your contact list? You've got the list of contacts there and their numbers as well. And just like traditional Samsung, you just swipe to the left and it allows you to make a call, all from your watch. The best thing is, when you do make a call, it routes through the speaker and the microphone there. You can have it added so it switches to the phone, which you just tap on the screen and change the Bluetooth source. But when you're driving, example, the Galaxy Gear is really handy, because for me especially, it allows me to just at a glance see whether it's an important notification. Great if you're just in a meeting, example. As you can see, it's coming through here. But it's also really handy, example, if you're driving, you get a phone call, you don't need to check your phone. And with the fact that it's a companion device, it really is an extension of your phone on your arm. And if you're in the UK, example, you're not allowed to touch your phone at all whilst you're driving. but with a Galaxy Gear on your wrist, you don't need to. But it's more than just notifications. The fact is, it also has something called Auto Lock, which we'll show you now as well. With Auto Lock, you have the option to change your settings. So in this case, we're going to change it. So it automatically switches off after we've stopped using it for a period of, let's say 7 seconds. And now we wait. First the screen goes dull and then it switches off. The good thing about this is it helps to improve battery life, which again is really handy. Which obviously with this watch, this is probably one of the downsides, which we'll come to in a second. Now let's take a quick look at the user interface. It's all about swipes from left to right. You've got your logs, your contacts, and the main display. You can actually customize the watch face here to whether you want weather or some dual watches, and that's all done via the Galaxy Gear Manager. You then got notifications, and past that, all of these options are customizable, so you can actually remove them. Everything up until the apps. So Snapchat we've added, Media Controller we've added, S-Voice we've enabled, Tweet View is something we'll show you in another video, which actually allows you to retweet and favourite stuff on Twitter directly from your watch. Now you see we've actually looked at a lot of applications, but what if we want to go into them? Yep, the Galaxy Gear does multitasking as well. And it suddenly looks just like a Galaxy does, and you can even close apps just by swiping them away like such. Now we're here, but what if we want to go to the home screen? You just swipe from the top. And it's relatively responsive as well. At first we had a few issues, but with Galaxy Gear updates, they've actually done really well to improve the reliability of this. So that's the good. What about the bad? Well, not everything is great. And just before... Now one last thing we want to show you is some other shortcuts. You're on the main clock face, and you can swipe down from the top just to get to the camera. And you can swipe up to get to the dialer, which means you can now dial a number. So if we wanted to call the police, you could. We're not going to, obviously. And to swipe up, and it takes you into the dialer, so we could now call a number exactly if we wanted to just here. And at the same time, it searches your contact list with Smart Dial, just to see if it does match anyone. Swipe back from the top. And then the last shortcut we have, which is something we use oh so often, is a case of, imagine if you've got notifications coming through on your phone, and then the same notification sound comes through off your watch. It's going to get a bit annoying. But you can very quickly switch the volume and the brightness just by double tapping, and it gives you now a battery status indicator, which is 33%. The fact we are connected via Bluetooth to the Galaxy Gear, and you can now adjust the volume, and even adjust the brightness, but we'll turn that back up again. So that's all the good, but what about the bad? Because it's not all great. After all, this is a first gen product, and to be honest, if Samsung had made this absolutely amazing by now, we'd really have no issues whatsoever. They would really have sold millions, as opposed to the 800,000 they've reportedly shipped. And remember, in the US, there is about a 30% return rate, so why are people returning it? Well, there's a few downsides to this. First, we have to touch on this is battery life. The Galaxy Gear, if we're not using it for phone calls, will last roughly 36 to 48 hours, which is 1.5 to 2 days. And we'll probably put it about 40 hours from our testing over the last month or so. If we're using it for phone calls, just like a phone, it drains a lot faster, and we do find that sometimes it will only last 24 hours. You do charge your phone every single day, but it will mean you roughly will be charging your Galaxy Gear every 1 to 2 days. The flip side, the good side to that, is the fact that the Galaxy Gear is super fast at charging. We've seen it go from 0 to 100% in an hour, which, to be honest, to charge a full battery, which is around 300 milliamp hours, that's not bad at all. They've done well to make it that fast. Let's go back to the negative. To charge it, you need this. And to pair it via NFC, you need this because NFC is built into this dock and not into the phone, into the Gear itself. As you'll see on the back, this has the micro USB port, and the connectors there join up with the connectors on the back of the Galaxy Gear. Not ideal, not a deal breaker, but if you were to lose this, you'd have to buy a replacement gear dock thingy, or even maybe a replacement gear. We don't know exactly how much Samsung are going to charge for it, but it's again something to bear in mind. Let's put this to one side now. Now, one definite downfall is you can't use the Galaxy Gear unless you have a Samsung Galaxy phone. And there's only certain phones at the moment. Samsung have said they're going to increase compatibility with other devices, but at the moment, the Galaxy Gear only works with selected devices. We use a Galaxy Note 3, but if you didn't, and you really like the look of it, you'd have to have a Galaxy phone. And not even a low-cost one. It'd have to be a pretty expensive Galaxy phone at the moment. We'll obviously see this change with time and in future generations, but nonetheless, it is still a negative for this. And then the last thing is the reliability. Now, if we switch this off, it has a feature called Lift to Unlock. So we lift it up, and the idea is that when it's on your wrist like such, and you lift it to look at the time, it should wake up. In this case it hasn't, but normally it can sometimes take maybe once or twice you have to lift it up to actually get the screen to awake. Most of the time it does it automatically. Again, really handy, and it's all judged by movement. And then one other thing we're going to show you now is this really cool lock feature. So we're going to move the Galaxy Gear and show you our Galaxy Note 3. Now the Galaxy Note 3 at the moment just has a swipe to unlock screen. Now, but it is paired to the Galaxy Gear, as you'll see. Now when we switch off the Bluetooth on the Galaxy Note 3, and it disconnects from the Galaxy Gear, first you see that the Galaxy Gear is now disconnected, but also you'll see it switches to pattern lock. When we reconnect to the Galaxy Gear, which we're now connected to, it switches back to a swipe lock, and you just saw it there. The good thing about this is that if you do happen to, someone does pick up your phone whilst you're not in the room, example, they can't access your phone unless the Gear is within the same proximity. Really handy. Some people might find it annoying, especially whilst it's on charge, but we've actually found the feature to be really useful because it provides a lot of security for your device, unless the Gear is next to it, example like such. The good thing about this is you'll have the Gear on your wrist, and no doubt using your phone in the other hand example, so it means you don't need any security even though you do have it. And that's just one really good feature. So the Galaxy Gear overall, some people like it, a lot of people think they don't, and we've read a lot of reviews that say it's an average product. Well, we honestly believe that a lot of reviews needed to wait for the latest updates that actually brings support for notifications for absolutely any application. Before this, it wasn't worth the money. Especially not the £300 they're charging in the UK, or it maybe even be £250 now. But now, with the ability to have notifications for any application, it really is your phone but on your wrist. And it's really handy to have it, especially when we're driving like we've touched on. So to recap, the Galaxy Gear has a lot of positives and a fair few negatives as well, at the end of the day, to be fair. We like the design, the fact it does notifications for any application, the camera, the fact that we've got the auto lock feature, so to be able to lock our phone and also switch off the screen, which helps save battery life, and with the ability to control brightness, install further applications. There's a lot you can do with the Galaxy Gear for such a little device. However, the downside is the battery life definitely leaves a lot to be desired. You do need this little charging dock, which again is just another thing you have to carry. The fact it's connected to all Galaxy devices and not to any Android device like a Sony Smartwatch 2 or even Android and iPhone like the Pebble Watch, and the fact that there are certain bits where it's just not 100% reliable, especially when you are lifting to unlock. Overall, is it worth the money? If you can pick one up at £200, the Galaxy Gear is definitely worth it. Between £200 and £250, it's something to be considered. Above £250, we wouldn't buy it. It is at the end of the day a first gen smartwatch, but compared to what other smartwatches do, the Galaxy Gear offers a lot of features. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and let us know what you think of the Galaxy Gear and of this rather long video review in the comments below.